Hello and welcome again to this new meeting where we are sharing together the wisdom of the sacred goddess Gayatri and the Gayatri Mantra. We have discussed in the previous meetings how the mantra Gayatri can be practiced to connect our triple individual consciousness with the higher one and the source. And the Gayatri Mantra that appears as knowledge, pure knowledge in the Vedas, takes a more human form through history in the Upanishads. And this is the history of the goddess Gayatri. In the Upanishads, we find the stories of the divine characters of the deities that take a human form and appear to ourselves as humans, so that it's easier for us to relate to them in their human aspect. And in the Upanishad, it is described how Gayatri appears as the essence of divine wisdom, but also as protector and keeper of the universe. And she also gives a link, a hint on how to work with her to attain liberation. And the story happens in Videha, in a kingdom in ancient India. And there was the king, Janaka, who was known for his deep interest in spiritual knowledge. And he frequently held gatherings of the greatest sages coming from all the corners of the kingdom and also abroad. And he was usually asking them to explain the deeper mysteries of the universe. He acted as a mecenas for sages and held these gatherings where philosophers and sages and rishis met to discuss. And one day, he organized a great assembly, and when all the sages were in place, he asked, "Dear sages, I have a very important question for you. Among all divine forces, which is the highest and the most worthy of worship?" And slowly, many voices started to appear in the assembly, and many sages gave different answers. The worshippers of the sun, Surya, said, "Surya is the highest, as it provides light and vital force to all beings. He has been working on daily basis for eons to sustain the life in the planet. We should honor Surya." And from the other side, in the south of the assembly, some voices claim, "Agni, the fire, is the supreme. In fact, the sun is this ball of incandescent fire. Fire is the element which transforms all things and allows us to move forward in the path." And then, from the east, some declare, "The wind is the greatest. Let's honor Vayu. Vayu, as the air that we breathe, sustains all life and allows us to change, and the wind coming from the east represents the sacred wisdom. We need to go with Vayu." And others spoke and said, "We propose Varuna, the deep waters, because life in the earth is possible due to water. The waters are the source of all existence and allowed life to happen on earth. And finally, a group in the center said, we propose Indra. He is the king of all gods. Janaka, you are a king yourself. So you need to venerate and connect to the kings of the heavens. And that is Indra. And the tension increased in the room, and there were many disputes and a lot of talks and voices raising. And all of a sudden, from a corner, a sweet but deep voice said, the supreme force is neither the sun, the fire, the wind, nor the water. The supreme force is the goddess Gayatri. She pervades all creation and sustains the entire cosmos. She is the very breath of the One. She is the breath of Parabrahman. This was the sage Yajnavalkya, the wisest among all the sages of ancient India. And everybody was puzzled because many of them have not heard about Gayatri. And the king Janaka, who was puzzled, said, who is this goddess Gayatri? I have never seen her or heard of her. If she is so powerful, where can I find her? How can I relate to her? And the sage, Yajnavalkya, closed his eyes, went inside into the deep cave of his heart, and meditated deeply upon Gayatri. The entire court became silent, and the vibration elevated, and all of a sudden, a radiant golden light filled the whole palace, and from the light emerged the goddess Gayatri in her divine form as a human. She was seated on a red lotus and adorned with her celestial ornaments in her several arms. She had 5 faces that were radiating with wisdom, and she spoke. And when she spoke, her voice was soothing as the waters of the sacred Ganga, and she said, O King, I am the eternal force behind all knowledge and behind the whole creation. The Vedas arise from myself. The sun shines with my radiance. The fire burns with my energy. The winds blow through my breath. And the water flows by my grace. Those who seek truth must meditate upon my divine light, for I alone can lead the soul from darkness of ignorance to the supreme light. And Janaka was breathless. His mind was filled with enlightenment, and he bowed to her and asked, O Divine Mother, how can we mortals worship you to attain liberation? And the goddess smiled and said, chant my mantra with devotion, the Gayatri Mantra. Meditate upon my light on daily basis when the sun comes out of the horizon. Worship my presence with a pure heart in the sacred cave of your chest, and utter the Gayatri Mantra. Ombu Bhuvasuvaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Vargo Devasya Dimahi Dio Yona Prachodayat. And she explained the mantra to the audience. And King Yanaka, who was deeply moved, began chanting this mantra every day. And in time, with practice, routine, and perseverance, he attained divine wisdom and became known as the King Sage, Raya Rishi. Rishi means sage, Raya means king. And up to now, to today, King Yanaka is venerated in his ascended form as Raya Rishi. And he is the one that rules over wisdom and compassion, reflecting the presence of the goddess. Thank you very much for this opportunity to share this wonderful story, and let's continue chanting Gayatri until we meet next time.